What's up everybody, Gundam Flexing here, and today we're going to be checking out the toughest build I've done this year, and it's from Max Factory called Project Gear with Special Investigations Unit Patrol Vehicle, otherwise known online as Max Factory Red Spectacles. Now if you notice the character and you've seen the movie Jin-Roh, then you know this is where the model is based off of. And I have to say there are a lot of reasons why this is the toughest build. Because as a Gunpla builder, I'm sort of used to all the PC caps, all the things fitting into holes, but that's not the case for this model. This model is a display case, it is static, so nothing on the model typically moves, minus a few things on the Jeep such as the wheels. So with that being said, this thing costs around $20 to $40. I really can't say, the prices on Amazon does jump quite a bit. And it came out in September of 2019. And if you notice in front of the screen, here I have the Tamiya cement and it cost me 160 yen. This is paramount to your build. If you don't know anything about this build, you're thinking of getting something like this, or thinking of getting this specific model, then you must have Tamiya cement. Because again, as a Gunpla builder, I was expecting a lot of things to be a little bit easy when I started building it, but no, the pieces don't really go into each other very well. You have to have Tamiya cement to ensure the pieces stick. And with that, as a side note, you also use your model knife. The plastic pieces don't really fit well into the holes. So anyways, I'll get more into that. Before we begin to look into the soldier and into the Jeep itself, we're going to go over all the extra periphery items. And coming up first is the decals. Now this is important to note. You'll notice that all my decals are still on the sheet. And if I am not mistaken, these decals are actually water slides. So I was a little bit too lazy. I didn't really want to take them out. At first I was like using the hobby knife trying to peel them out, and then I realized that they are definitely not the transparent decals. These are definitely like water slides or the other type of decal, which dry decals. But because it's so small, I didn't want to transfer any of them over. And you'll notice here, this is where I originally tried to use the edge of a knife to pull out the odometer so you could put it on the tank. So there are a lot of small decals, like the red ones are for his eyes, the decals right here for the odometer. Of course, we have his emblem, a bunch of numbers, and we also have a bunch of like small detail decals right here that probably goes on the side of some gas tanks. But because they're so small and I'm not that good, my motor patterns aren't that great, I decided to leave all the small ones in there. So there are no decals on my model. Another thing to go over are the runners. Now, I'm not sure about the quality of these plastic because again, I had to use my hobby knife to really start carving out pieces to ensure they fit into the holes. And you can see here, right here where my finger's at, this is like poor quality in my opinion. I'm not saying the model is bad, but the impression or the imprint on the plastic is pretty rough. Notice here, I pretty much used all of it. Now there are extra pieces, but I don't think they're really relevant to the complete build. Here is another runner, which I think just pretty much gives you extra pieces right here. And it is the gas tanks. Now I thought that was pretty cool. They give you the gas tanks. The instructions don't really tell you to take them out, so I left them in, but you could definitely take them out and use them yourself. And an awesome thing is that it comes with an extra set of steering wheels. Now this is the only extra set, or I guess extra piece, that I found that would be relevant to the build, because if you mess up trying to carve out the plastic and you accidentally crush the outer circumference, you're sort of screwed. But because it comes with an extra one, it's all good. And I think this is a good example right here behind the gas tanks and what I mean. So here we'll notice one end you have the holes, and the other end you have the little pillars right here, little just knots. Chances are these knots will not fit into here, and even if they were, they won't stay in place. So you have to use cement glue, and you also have to use a hobby knife to start carving this out. And again, for all those experienced modelers out there that like to build World War II tanks and airplanes, yeah, if that's like a common knowledge, I apologize. I don't build those, I build Gunpla. And now on to the model itself. So Jin-Roh has some pretty awesome looking soldiers in my opinion. I love the German World War II style helmets, and the model again is static, so nothing on this guy moves. As a matter of fact, a large portion of him is, actually all of it is pretty much cement in. He has this awesome heavy machine gun right on his backpack. He has a backpack here that's also a radio. And underneath his left armpit, right here, and you could paint it, is a belt of ammunition, and that has to be super glued in from his chest all the way to the backpack. And here we have his chest. This is pretty cool. We have like his little small shield, and there is an emblem on it. And of course we go on to the legs. And again, a lot of parts do not fit. So I'm going to try to probably put up the pictures and instructions, images of it right now. And you'll notice a lot of end of the pieces are smooth. So you have to use cement or super glue to put it in place. And luckily, very luckily, is that his balance is very good. So whenever you place him, he's not going to like fall over or tip over very easily. So yes, the soldier itself was very quick to build, and the vast majority of my time was spent on this Jeep right here. I'm gonna just drag him around. And you'll notice this wheel right here is about to fall off. You're not supposed to cement the wheels so that way they're able to turn. So this Jeep is really interesting to build, and if it's something like anything, like normal modeling, like World War II tanks and planes and ships and whatnot, then kudos to those builders, because this thing was a beast. And I'm talking, you built everything. We're talking the frame, the chassis, the underparts of the vehicle. You built the engines. Like the engine portion was pretty incredible. And I'm going to remove the hood. And here we have the engine. I'm going to throw up a couple of images right now for the engine. I mean, you build the belt of the engine, you build a lot of pieces to include, I think, the battery pack in part of the engine too. And then you have to build the bay of the engine, and then you have to build like the chassis of the vehicle. And you also have to, again, make the steering wheel, make all the gears right here, and of course the odometer. This thing was such a beast to build and took a lot of patience. And so whenever I'm handling this Jeep right now, I have to be very careful, because a lot of pieces on this Jeep was just straight up cemented in. And I was building it, I just kept on grabbing the small pieces because I'm not used to it, and the small pieces would snap and fall off of the Jeep. It's crazy. If I could hold the Jeep upside down, you also have to make the under portion of the Jeep, the chassis, everything. And you notice where my thumb is right here, and then where my thumb is right there, where they connect the rotation of the tires to the engine. You also have to make that too. And you'll notice here where my right thumb is, on my right side, I accidentally snapped that piece. So like I said in the beginning of the film, you do have to be careful, because a lot of these pieces may not fit securely in there, or a lot of them are missized, or I may have just messed that one up. But this portion was so difficult to make, to include the tires and everything, because again, although the pieces fit well to it, it does not snap in. So you have to use Tamiya cement, and you have to use your hobby knife to start shaving off plastic. This thing was so difficult to build, but I'm really proud of myself for actually finished this thing. One thing that I think I messed up is the back tire right here, where my right hand's at. This thing just comes right off very easily, and I don't know why, because the other one isn't. And that's because the hole is a lot smaller. So I'm not sure if it was like a poor print off the production line. But as you saw on the runners, I don't think this thing was very well made, especially when you have to use a hobby knife and shave so much plastic off, so that way they'll be able to fit into like all the small pieces, and you'll be able to link everything too. The instructions were pretty easy to read. You just again have to be very patient with this build. So overall, I was really surprised. This is not something I expected when I opened the box and started taking everything out. This was not expected whatsoever. When I looked at the instructions and I tried to connect the soldier all together, and I started noticing that the ends were flat, and I said, oh God, I have to have cement. Maybe it's just for the soldier. And then as I started continuing on and I got to the Jeep, I realized, no, that is the standard for the rest of this model, for the rest of this build. So again, Don't know, I can't really tell you the price of this thing, $20 to $40. If you're interested in it because you're a fan of Jin-Roh, the Wolf Brigade, I think the solder looks incredible. Just remember, you have to have Tamiya cements, you have to have a hobby knife, and a great deal of patience, especially with the Jeep. But overall, again, I'm just super proud of myself for actually finishing this build. If you have any questions or comments, please post it down in the section below. This is a pretty unique build from Gunpla. So I appreciate you all for watching. If you have any questions or comments, please post it down in the section below. Other than that, appreciate you all for watching. Wash your hands, wash your face, social distance. Peace out.